Stay informed about the latest developments in cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond with Newsword Scrollers edition covering the period from August 18, 2025, to August 25, 2025.
Chinese military engineers conduct their initial experiment involving a triple nuclear strike in a laboratory setting. Iran and Russia have entered into a $25 billion agreement to construct 4 nuclear power plants. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal, the Pentagon is advocating for a doubling of missile production in anticipation of a possible conflict with China.
Elaine van der Velden, the founder of the AI indie company Particle 6, has introduced an AI talent studio named Sequoia, which is designed to create hyperreal digital stars. Additionally, an AI analysis has revealed that a painting previously dismissed as a copy is actually a Caravaggio, valued at £71,000. YouTube Music is experimenting with AI hosts that provide trivia and commentary.
The United States is in the process of negotiating a financial package worth $20 billion, which includes a bailout and the purchase of debt, with Argentina. The U.S. government plans to revoke the visa of the Colombian president due to his remarks made at a pro-Palestinian event. Furthermore, the U.S. Navy conducted strikes that resulted in the deaths of 17 individuals, prompting Venezuela to distribute firearms to its civilian population.
Denmark, unsettled by unexplained UAV sightings, prohibits drone flights in anticipation of the European Union summit. Reportedly, Western nations replicate Iran's Shahid drone as allies strive to equalize capabilities. European countries decide to continue with the drone wall initiative due to increasing airspace breaches.
Kraken engages in discussions with strategic investors at a valuation of $20 billion. Amazon agrees to a $2.5 billion settlement in a Prime-related case with the FTC. EA reveals a deal to be acquired by PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners for a total of $55 billion.
Germany announces a $40 billion investment in military and space sectors, attributing the decision to emerging threats. Russia accuses NATO and the EU of engaging in a real war against it through Ukraine. An investigation reveals the presence of a Russian surveillance and sabotage ship near European undersea cables, as reported by the Financial Times.
Crypto miner TeraWulf plans to grow its data centers through a $3 billion investment supported by Google, and Google unveils the new Agent Payments Protocol, AP2, to enhance AI-driven commerce. A group of 9 European banks collaborates to launch a euro stablecoin that meets MiCA regulations. HSBC showcases the first-ever quantum-enabled algorithmic trading system developed in partnership with IBM.
Moldova's political party that supports the European Union has secured a significant lead in an election that has been marked by allegations of interference from Russia. The European Union has turned down Apple's request to eliminate crucial technology regulations. Hungary's Prime Minister Orbán has informed Trump that ceasing the importation of Russian energy would severely damage the economy.
Denis Villeneuve is set to begin the casting process for an unidentified British actor for Bond 26 once he finishes working on Dune, Part 3. FIFA imposes a fine of $1.8 million on Malaysia and suspends 7 players for a period of 12 months due to the use of forged documents in an Asia Cup qualifier. India is not presented with the Asia Cup trophy after declining to accept it from Pakistani Minister Naqvi, leading to an empty-handed celebration on stage.
Meta introduces Vibes, a platform featuring short-form videos generated by artificial intelligence. According to an AP Norc poll, streaming services are becoming more popular than movie theaters among viewers. Cloudflare has announced the launch of a US dollar stablecoin, aimed at supporting an AI-driven internet economy. A horror movie has been digitally modified in China to change a gay couple into a heterosexual one.
Microsoft has prohibited Israel from utilizing its technology for the extensive surveillance of Palestinians. Netanyahu claims that Western nations have caved in to the recognition of a Palestinian state, following a heated UN address that led to a walkout. Trump declares that he will not permit Israel to annex the West Bank.
A revenue shortfall amounting to $800 billion poses a significant threat to the future of artificial intelligence, according to Bain. Microsoft is aiming to establish an AI marketplace specifically for publishers. Sam Altman has stated that OpenAI's upcoming data centers are expected to consume more power than the entire city of New York.
Turkish Airlines finalizes an agreement to purchase 225 Boeing aircraft following discussions between Erdogan and Trump. South Korea issues a warning to the United States, stating that ongoing projects will remain stalled unless there is a resolution to the visa issue. A new regulation from the U.S. government mandates that chip manufacturers produce one chip domestically for every chip they import from abroad to circumvent a 100% tariff, with reports suggesting that the Trump administration is preparing a new one-to-one chip export rule as part of a new tariff strategy.
Turkish drones are overseeing the Gaza aid flotilla following alleged Israeli assaults. Spain's prime minister has announced plans to dispatch a warship to safeguard the Gaza aid flotilla, while Italy has denounced the drone attack on the flotilla and is deploying a frigate. Iran's president warns that the Trump administration is on a trajectory that could ignite the Middle East. The Donald Trump administration is making efforts to prevent Israel from being banned from the 2026 World Cup, following a United Nations request. Trump has signed an order indicating that the sale of TikTok is prepared, with the platform being valued at $14 billion, and under the Trump agreement, the TikTok algorithm will be retrained using data from U.S. users. Chinese hackers have reportedly infiltrated U.S. software companies and law firms during the ongoing trade dispute, according to experts. A significant telecom threat was thwarted just as global leaders convened at the UN headquarters in New York.
Russia expresses its support for Trump's proposal to prohibit biological weapons. Documents indicate that Russia is assisting China in preparing for an attack on Taiwan. British intelligence agencies are utilizing the dark web to enlist Russian operatives and gain access to confidential information.
In the United States, the Department of Energy has expanded its list of prohibited words to include climate change and emissions. Meanwhile, California has increased its number of electric vehicle charger ports by 68% compared to the number of gas nozzles. Trump's Transportation Department has withdrawn grants for trails and biking, labeling them as hostile to automobiles.
Trump declares that the United States will implement a 100% tariff on films produced internationally. The U.S. soybean harvest commences without any indication of purchases from China, while Brazil achieves a record in exports. Trump reveals a 25% tariff on trucks and a 30% tariff on furniture.
Experts have stated that China's strategies to reduce emissions are insufficient to prevent a global disaster. A study has revealed that mortality rates increased in hospital emergency rooms following the acquisition by private equity firms. Trump has demanded an investigation into what he terms triple sabotage concerning issues with a UN escalator, teleprompter, and audio equipment, and he mistakenly displayed an autopen image instead of a portrait of Biden in the presidential photo gallery.
Japan's Pokemon criticizes a U.S. immigration video by employing its "Gotta catch 'em all" slogan, while the U.S. Department of Homeland Security had previously used the Pokemon theme song and images in an unsettling ICE promotion. Trump mandates the declassification and release of Amelia Earhart files almost 90 years following the aviator's disappearance. In the U.S., the Justice Department is requesting information regarding the Georgia District Attorney who prosecuted Trump. YouTube will permit content creators who were banned due to spreading misinformation about COVID-19 and the elections to submit applications for their accounts to be reinstated. Pew Research Center reports that 1 in 5 Americans now consistently receive their news from TikTok, marking a significant increase since 2020. A campaign by trolls on 4chan attempted to prevent Indian nationals from traveling to the United States in response to changes in Trump's H-1B visa policy.
OpenAI, Oracle and SoftBank are broadening the Stargate project by adding 5 additional locations for AI data centers. Major League Baseball has given the green light for the implementation of robot umpires in 2026, integrating them into the existing challenge system. In a different development, the Pope has rejected the notion of an AI-generated pontiff offering blessings to people online.
Swiss citizens have narrowly approved the implementation of electronic identity cards. A new digital identification system will be required for employment in the United Kingdom. Vietnam has shut down 86 million bank accounts that do not meet biometric standards.
China inaugurates the world's highest bridge, surpassing its previous record. Goldman Sachs predicts potential interest rate reductions by China in the fourth quarter due to growth worries. Former Chinese Agriculture Minister Tang Renjian receives a death sentence with a reprieve for engaging in bribery.
QAnon shaman initiates a $40 trillion lawsuit against Trump and includes Musk, T-Mobile, and Warner Brothers in a lengthy legal complaint. FBI's Patel explains the involvement of numerous agents on January 6, accuses Wray of misleading Congress, and Politico notes Trump's incorrect claim that FBI agents incited the January 6 violence. FBI dismisses at least 15 agents for their actions during the George Floyd protests, with additional agents, including those who knelt during racial justice demonstrations, also being terminated.
RFK Jr. is considering broadening the vaccine injury program to include children exhibiting autism symptoms, while the FDA in the U.S. seeks to increase the use of leucovorin, which RFK Jr. promotes as a treatment for autism. Kennedy mentions that the FDA is evaluating the safety of the abortion pill mifepristone. The WHO has dismissed Trump's assertions about a connection between Tylenol and autism, despite the White House's recent fact sheet stating that evidence indicates a link between acetaminophen and autism, issued 1 week ago.
Zelensky announced that a significant agreement for purchasing U.S. arms is being developed. 3 days ago, the Wall Street Journal reported that Trump informed Zelensky of his willingness to supply new long-range weapons, according to officials. It was also reported that Zelensky requested Tomahawk missiles from Trump to compel Putin to negotiate peace. Bloomberg reports that Europeans have privately informed Russia of their readiness to down jets. In the U.S., a court has ruled that the Pentagon can label DJI as a Chinese military company.
Trump announces plans to dispatch troops to Portland with the aim of safeguarding ICE facilities, instructing the defense secretary to carry out this deployment, which leads to Oregon filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration regarding the troop deployment order. An NPR Ipsos poll reveals that there is not widespread support among Americans for Trump's decision to deploy the National Guard. Sources indicate that the U.S. is considering various military strike options against drug targets located within Venezuela.
Farage could secure victory in UK election if conducted tomorrow, according to YouGov poll. Trump requests Supreme Court ruling on terminating birthright citizenship, while Bloomberg reports that the U.S. advocates for a revamp of international asylum regulations following Trump's address. Slovakia enacts legislation to acknowledge solely 2 genders and limit adoption opportunities.
Hegseth announces that soldiers involved in the Wounded Knee incident will retain their medals of honor. 4 months prior, U.S. Senators Warren, Merkley, and Takuda reignited efforts to ensure accountability for soldiers responsible for the Wounded Knee massacre. According to the Washington Examiner, Antifa is urging additional assaults on ICE facilities. A study indicates that right-wing terrorist attacks decreased in 2025, whereas left-wing attacks increased.
LinkedIn is preparing to begin training its artificial intelligence using the profiles of its members. According to Deutsche Bank, almost 20% of Generation Z individuals express significant concern that artificial intelligence might replace their jobs within the next 2 years, whereas baby boomers and Generation X members appear less worried. Uber's CEO has mentioned that autonomous taxis have the potential to replace drivers within the next 10 to 15 years, which could lead to a substantial societal issue.